Good morning. This is Chai Chats. All right, take a deep breath. Today's topic is when everything feels like too much. Because something I really struggle with as a person with a neurodivergent brain is identifying, feeling, and processing my emotions in a healthy and productive way. I tend to just kind of melt down and cry a lot. I oftentimes find myself overstimulated by what I'm feeling because I feel everything so intensely, both positive and negative. It's as if my brain only feels in extremes, and that's exhausting. And once one thing feels like too much, everything after that is going to feel like too much. But what does too much feel like exactly? For me, it starts out as agitation. I get antsy, I get shaky, and I'm just overwhelmed by my racing mind. And then there are tears, and lots of them. I feel knots in my stomach, tightness in my chest, and then those physical sensations triggered by the mental state exacerbates the too muchness. So now just everything is too much. Neurodivergent people often have difficulty pinpointing what it is they're feeling and where in their bodies they feel it. An example being, my body, for whatever reason, often feels like it's being hunted for sport. Mentally, I will be totally fine. There is not a care or worry in my brain. But my body is telling me that something is just very wrong. And it's that physical discomfort that ends up turning into panic. And then bam, look at that. We're stuck in a debilitating loop of everything feeling like too much. It then gets to the point where I lose the ability to verbalize or articulate what it is I'm feeling. I don't know why I feel wrong. I just know that I feel very, very wrong. So what do I do when everything is too much? In our last apartment, we had what was called the too much corner. It was this little space under our bathroom sink that was just big enough for me to sit with my knees pulled to my chest, wrapped in a blanket. And I would sit there under the sink, wrapped in a blanket with my headphones on, and just cry until things felt a little less. Now, I don't have a space like that anymore, but I do have tools that I didn't have back then. One of them being crocheting. Crocheting has become such a strong meditative practice for me that if I'm able to catch the meltdown before I'm in the full swing of it, I'll grab a hook and some yarn and change the location I'm in and start crocheting. Something I've learned during my time as a registered behavior technician is that a lot of meltdowns can either slow down, if not completely resolve, if you introduce a circuit breaker. A circuit breaker is a change in person, place, or thing. That's the simplest way I think I can describe it. So, examples: changing or adding a person to your environment, having a new voice, a new set of eyes, a new set of ears, just a different body is sometimes enough. I have had experiences, not of my own meltdown, I'm sure I have, but seeing others have meltdowns, and I'm just not able to help. I'm only making things worse. It happens. Introducing another person into that environment, even if they say the same exact thing that I said, just a different person that wasn't there when the onset of the meltdown took place, sometimes that's enough. Changing your environment is another really big one. If you can, go into a completely different part of wherever you are. Go into a different room. If you're inside, go outside. If you're outside, go inside. If you have to stay in the same space, or you prefer to stay in the same space, change the sounds or change the lighting, or just go to a different part of that room. It can help your brain slow down because now there's new stimulus for your brain to process. So now some of the energy that's going into those big feelings is now going towards processing this new stimulus. Or changing a thing about your environment. This one's a little bit of a gray area because it could mean so many different things. It could be picking up a stuffed animal or picking up a pet. It could also be putting something down that's frustrating you or contributing to these big feelings. Stimulating your brain in a way that's different from your current state can kind of trick your brain into slowing down, or at least pausing for just a moment. And sometimes that moment is exactly what your brain needs to give you the chance to calm yourself down. Rude. Sometimes you just need to trick yourself a little bit to give yourself a chance to calm down. At least that's what I do. And yesterday was one of those days where everything got to be too much. I was overwhelmed with sadness, and nothing in particular made me sad, at least that I caught on to. Nothing happened, nothing changed. I didn't do or see or hear anything that I would think would trigger sadness. But my body felt just overwhelmingly sad. I don't know why I felt like that, but I allowed myself to. And I sat with that sadness and asked myself, what is this sadness here for? Because I don't know why I was sad, but there's got to be some reason. And sometimes the reason is nothing crazy. It's just that's the way your brain chemistry is going. But I sat with that sadness for a little bit, allowed myself to feel it, and then I changed locations. I will say I am very lucky to have the support system that I do, because sometimes I can't do it on my own. I can't get over the meltdown. I can't calm down. I can't make the panic stop. I can't do it on my own. And I am fortunate enough to be able to just go and ask for a hug and for support and for help calming down. But of course, when we have a solid support system, our brain likes to try to sabotage it. When things feel like too much, the next thought is usually, I am burdening those around me. And this is where I try to remind myself that I am not a burden. I'm allowed to feel how I feel, whatever that looks like. I'm allowed to ask for help and support, and I'm allowed to take up space. Just because things feel like they're too much doesn't mean that I am too much. And if someone thinks you're being too much because you are feeling your feelings how you feel them, they don't deserve a seat at your table. And as the wonderful creator Elise says, they can go find less. Sip on it. Ooh, that felt good. I have a really hard time talking about my feelings, except to my therapist. We love her. But I feel lighter. Doing this whole YouTube thing is intimidating and scary. But god damn it, do I feel pretty good after every time I record a video. So thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing this space with me. I'll see you soon. Okay, love you, bye.